So I'm here with Rob and Angelo. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good. How are you?
All right.
Pretty good. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You guys originally from Baltimore?
Yeah, I was raised in Federal Hill.
And you guys are brothers, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Blood brothers?
Yeah, we're blood brothers.
And you had mentioned before we started recording that you guys actually didn't know about each other until recently, or?
No, 3 years ago, I went into one of the missions here in Baltimore, and me and Angelo got to talking, and we were throwing names around. And he said a name that was familiar to me, and I was like, wait a minute, is this guy playing with me? You know what I mean?
How is that possible?
And it's like, I said, well, my name is Robert, and you just mentioned my father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, long story short, we found out that his father's my father, and I don't know the ins and outs about how the mothers got hooked up with this type of thing, but
Dad was a Rolling Stone.
so we've been hanging out ever since. Dad turned out he was a Rolling Stone. You know what I mean?
Is he still around, or?
No, he's passed away. Yeah, he passed away. He had cardiac issues and
Gotcha.
passed away. And then he developed brain cancer. So him and my mother both are gone. She passed away in 1999. That was at the same time that I had got hurt in Bosnia.
You said Bosnia?
Yeah,
What part of the military were you in?
Navy.
Navy?
Yeah.
What happened with that situation? You getting hurt?
Well, an IED went off. When it did, the concussion severed my carotid artery, and I was bleeding out. So a couple of my teammates came and they evac'd me. When they evac'd me to Jordan. So when I first got to Jordan, I was incoherent. I didn't know what was going on, and so they did everything they could. They patched me up, did the surgery on me for the dissection repair, and shortly after that, I was transferred to Bethesda Naval Hospital, and I remained in that place for about a year, going through rehabilitation. It caused me to have a massive stroke from bleeding out, and the dissection caused a stroke. So I had no movement on my left-hand side whatsoever. My leg, arm, everything was numb, right? So I went through physical therapy, occupational therapy, and little by little, I was able to, I spent 2.5 years in a wheelchair, and then kept working at physical therapy and stuff. And by the time I had all the therapy and everything, I went from out of the wheelchair to a walker to a 3-point cane to a cane to nothing. You know what I mean? I walk fine now. You know what I mean? I move. I have some numbness on my right side, but it's not a deep set numbness, but I can feel you touch me. But
Like a tingling feeling?
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and
Was that your first time over in Bosnia, or like out of the country for any military?
It was my first time in Bosnia, but I've been around the world. So I've been in Afghanistan, I've been to Jordan.
How old were you when all that was going on?
When I was in the military, I was 36 years old.
36.
Yeah.
And then you had mentioned that's kind of how your addiction started.
Yeah, my addiction started while I was at the Bethesda Naval Hospital. They switched my, they gave me Dilaudid medication for the pain, and I was on that for a long time, even upon my discharge. And I found myself when I didn't have, I started abusing the Dilaudid. That's when I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I started seeking out heroin
Yeah.
to replace the
feeling
Dilaudid that I didn't have no more.
Yeah.
You know? And so that went on and on for a while. And eventually I got tired of it. I got tired of chasing everything. So I went to my doctor, my primary care doctor, and I told him, I said, look, I said, bottom line, I'm addicted to this Dilaudid medication. I need to get off of it, but I need to be on something that'll take away my pain, right? That's not as addicting. That's when he said, well, I'll put you on methadone. I looked at him, I said, well, that's for drug addicts. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? I'm not a drug addict. Did you hear what I just told you?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's like, wait a minute, hear me out. So then he told me he got the journal of medicine out and all that, was showing me different documents and everything where methadone is actually used for pain, right? And stuff like that. So I went along with it.
Yeah.
I'm still on a methadone program to this day. And it's 5 years now. About 5 years I've been on methadone. So, and it works. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I slip up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's nothing out here. You know what I mean? There's no heroin here in Baltimore.
It's all fentanyl?
It's all fentanyl or not even fentanyl. You know, I just had a drug test done.
That's crazy.
It had amphetamines, which is my medication for my ADHD. That's where the amphetamines come in. And then it had benzodiazepam,
Yeah.
which was the cut that they had put into whatever they were selling. You know what I mean? They're selling straight cut now.
They
You know what I
ran
mean?
out of fentanyl.
Yeah.
The fentanyl is dead.
So they're just selling you whatever they can.
Whatever they can. Anything that they can fill that capsule up and get paid for, that's what they're selling. You know?
And Angelo, before you guys kind of came together, what was your upbringing like? Like you're from Baltimore too?
I was born in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Okay. Yeah.
But how I got to Baltimore, now that's kind of a long story. I lived in Charles County, Maryland, and
Okay.
I moved to North Carolina and stayed down there for quite a while. Came up here. Like I said, that's a long story, and I don't really know which way to start with it. But I ended up in Baltimore in 2006, sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Where at?
Started at Patuxent.
I was up Cumberland.
Was you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I went to Patuxent for a mental evaluation, and I stayed there for about 6 months, and then they sent me to MTC, where I finished out 2 years and 9 months, and came out, and I've been here ever since. That was 2009. I was on parole till 2012. So when we're done with parole, I'm gonna leave and go back to North Carolina. 2010 came, I met my wife, and that's where it gets a little bit more weirder. The story gets a little bit thicker. I met her, we got married in 2012. I got off parole in 2012.
That was a good year for you.
Huh?
That was a good year for you.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Got married too, you know, and everything was going along great until about 2019. She had got an infection on her foot, and she had to get her. The infection turned to gangrene real fast.
She was a diabetic.
And by her being diabetic, it turned to gangrene real fast. And the doctor had told her to use Neosporin, and because she was using Neosporin, nobody knew that Neosporin does reverse on diabetics. Instead of helping you, it slows your healing.
Oh wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, nobody does, because it's not on none of the boxes, or it's not documented anywhere, anything. And if she would have stayed alive, we were going to sue Neosporin for that. But you know, she passed away after she got her leg cut off. She had her leg amputated to her knee, and she passed away 2019, February 22nd, 2019. Her heart stopped beating at 3:30 in the morning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Been 3 years, going on 4 years now. And,
Tell us how we ended up on the streets.
yeah, that's how I come to here. It's because the city took the Section 8 away. They said, you know, she's not here no more, so you can't stay. You can stay and pay full rent. You know, and I was like, I can't afford full rent. You know, their advice to me was to go get a Section 8 of my own and come back. So that's what I've been trying to do. I've been out on the street now for 3 years.
How long is the wait list when you put your name on the list?
Oh Lord, that thing
Years?
Years. Some of it
It's been on it for a while.
Do you get any help, any kind of help from the VA?
I got a pending litigation with the Navy over some things with benefits, and I'm looking for a settlement, but they're still in negotiations right now. So in the long run, it might be this year, it might be next year, but while they're still negotiating, I can't comment on any of the details.
Gotcha. Yeah,
you know
no.
what I mean? It's like they got a gag order on us.
Yeah, for sure.
But I foresee a settlement, and I don't know how much it's going to be, but hopefully it'll be enough that we get off the street, get an apartment or whatever. If the housing thing don't come through, you know, we'll have to do it independently and use our own money. I get SSDI. He's on benefit. He gets benefits too, right? And then because of my pension from the Navy and stuff, all that they're still in litigation. The money they owe me and stuff. So it's hard to say exactly when it's going to hit. But
where do you guys typically sleep at?
Pier 5.
What is that?
Down here by the Baltimore Harbor.
Harbor? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we sleep down there.
Is it dangerous down there? Like you have to watch your stuff when you sleep?
Yeah, you got to watch your stuff. You know what I mean?
A few weeks
People.
ago, this kid was getting ready to tase me in my sleep. If he wouldn't have been awake, this kid was literally getting ready to tase me.
Yeah, I stopped him.
You know, I was sound asleep. I had no idea none of this was going on.
I told him I was going to shove the taser up his ass.
That's what woke me up, was hearing him talking like that. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I threw the blanket back, and there was these little hoppers out there. There was like 5 or 6 hoppers, you know, and they was all just talking shit. What the hell's going on, you know? Why y'all doing this to us? We don't bother nobody down here. You know, what the hell's y'all's problem? You know, and they were all laughing and high and shit, you know, just acting stupid. You know, and they're probably the same ones that broke into the pavilion.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 days before the pavilion got broken.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
They broke into that and stole sodas and all that stuff.
Sodas, beer.
Who steals sodas and stuff? I mean, it's kids. You know what I mean? It's kids. So they caught them. Most of them anyway. So, but
they do it every year when they get ready to go back to school. They get mad and they start acting stupid. they go down to the harbor and do stupid stuff like that.
They figure they can't squeegee anymore without getting jammed up. So, you know what I mean? They'll go and do petty crimes. And, as long as they don't involve us directly, they can do what they want. I'm not part of it. So, but
Kids,
do you guys have children of your own?
Yeah, I've got a daughter. She works for National Geographic. She's a photographer for National Geographic.
Cool.
And I got a son who he lives in Dundalk. He's going through some. He's a wrestler, but he had an injury that he's still healing from. So I don't know what he does for income now, but he's doing something. You know what I mean? He's got his own apartment and stuff with his kid, his wife. So, but I don't go around asking people for anything. You know what I mean? I don't panhandle, nothing like that. You know what I mean? If I got it, I got it. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes we luck out, and you know what I mean.
You ever worry about like you had mentioned they kind of sell anything? Do you ever worry about like you're gonna get that one bad batch and kind of not wake up and things like that? Like the thoughts like that cross your mind, or
that's always on our mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's
is there a way to test it?
Well, they got fentanyl test.
Yeah,
you know,
they sell those.
It's like he knows where to go get it, and I'm kind of like the test dummy. You know what I mean? So it's like if I don't like it, I'll tell him, and we'll compare. You know what I mean? Did you feel anything off of that or whatever? You know what I mean? He'll switch and go to someplace else.
Be careful, it's a little strong. Don't do a whole cap, you know. He'll go ahead and just do a whole cap and just see how it is. And I'm like, don't do that. Just, you know, take a half at a time. You know, this is different.
How long will a cap typically last you? A few hours?
Yeah,
if it's good,
if it's good,
it's good. A few hours at least. You know, you'll feel better. Your body won't hurt.
What do you feel like what do you feel like the most important lesson you've learned in life is?
Don't take anything for granted. You know, because the minute you start taking stuff for granted, it'll just slip out from under you. You know what I mean? People take the fact that they've got somewhere to live or somewhere to lay their head. They take it for granted. They're just going to be there every day. You know, when I go to the hospital, I've had 10 strokes now since '99, and I've been in the hospital. You know, when I go to the hospital, everybody tells me he walking around like he lost his best friend. You know what I mean? We're so used to being around each other.
Yeah, at least you guys got each other.
Yeah,
you know,
for 3 years now, it's like
everybody be like, "Where's your brother at? Where's
you go any place in town and describe us or say Rob and Angelo, and they know exactly who we are. You know what I mean? And you know, it's pretty cool. Everybody out there, even bus drivers, ask, "Where's your brother at? How you guys doing today?" And, you know, it's kind of like Norman. Norman was in that area for so much that people got to know him. You know what I mean? And but down here, you know, food isn't an issue down here. If you go hungry in Baltimore, something's wrong. You know, because there's always people trying to help you out with food, stuff like that, clothing, things like that. Yeah. His problem is that size-wise, you know what I mean? He has a hard time finding bigger sizes.
Like 4X, 3X, it's hard to find 3X or a 4X jacket or a hoodie or size 52 jeans. You know, it's hard to find stuff like that. You know, because when they do come out, everybody grabs the big stuff first, you know, because then they take and sell it.
Yeah. That's what most of them do. They'll look for stuff with tags still on it. You know what I mean? So
for people who may see this, and can maybe want to reach out to you guys and donate, give you guys stuff, is there a way they can get a hold of you? Is there a place you frequent most, or you know, whether it's clothes or anything like that?
Well, they can contact me at my email address.
You want to give that out?
It's Robert Emmons, EMMONS 219 @gmail.com.
Before we wrap it up, guys, if you could give one bit of advice to people who may see this, especially, you know, teenagers and kids and things like that, what would that be?
Don't give up. You know what I mean? You know, if you're tempted by drugs, you know, talk to somebody about it. Don't be somebody that just follows along and then you end up dead. You know, don't be a follower. Be your own person. You know, and you know, as far as, you know, everybody talks about education. Education has a lot to do with everything. You know what I mean? Because that's going to be your paycheck someday. You know, and the more education you have, the more money you make. You know.
And money to make it in life. Everything's expensive.
So it's like a revolving globe, man. You know, it's like, I didn't think education played that big of a part when I was in school, but I needed that education to go into the Navy. You know what I mean? I needed the education that the Navy gave me to be able to work, do different things. You know, so you know, I would just tell the younger crowd, you know, get your education, stay away from the drugs, you know, because at the end, you might end up like me, you know. I don't wish this on nobody. So.
Well, guys, I definitely appreciate you sharing your story.